Today we will be finding the prime factorization of numbers. Remember, when we are finding prime factorization, we use factor trees and write the numbers as a product of their primes. So let's try this with the number 54. So we write that out with 54 on the top of our tree and we give it 2 branches. We need to figure out something that multiplies to 54. It needs to be 2 whole numbers. So I know that 6 and 9 multiply to 54. So 6 times 9 gives me 54. Now I need to decide if either of these are prime. Remember, prime numbers only have factors of 1 and itself. Since 6 has other factors that go into it, I'm going to give it 2 branches and write 2 and 3 because 2 times 3 gives me 6. Then I need to figure out, is 9 prime? 9 is not prime, so I'm going to write out what multiplies to 9, which is 3 times 3. What I like to do once I find prime numbers is circle them so I know that I am done with that branch. So I know that 2 is prime because the only factors of 2 is 1 and 2. I also know that 3 is prime because the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3. So I'm going to circle all of my 3's. Once I have all my numbers circled, I can write out the prime factorization. So I can write out 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. I always write them out from smallest to largest. And then we're going to simplify this. I'm going to start out with my 2. I only have 1 2, so I'm just going to write that. I'm going to write my multiplication sign. And then I have my 3. And then I have 1, 2, 3 3's. So I'm going to write that out as 3 to the 3rd power. Now, there are more than one way to do each factor tree. So I'm going to do 54 again, but if I didn't know 6 times 9 equals 54, I could have chosen other numbers. So I also know 2 and 27 multiply to 54. I check to see if my numbers are prime, and I know 2 is prime because the only factors of 2 are 1 and itself, but 27 is not prime. So I am going to give it 2 branches, and I need to figure out something that multiplies to 27. I know that 3 times 9 is 27, and then I check, are either of these prime? I know my 3 is prime because the only factors of 3 are 1 in itself, but 9 is not prime. So I'm going to give that 2 branches. I know that 3 times 3 is 9. And I already found out 3 is prime, so I'm going to go ahead and circle my prime numbers. Then I write out my prime factorization just like I did last time. And I got the exact same thing. 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, which simplifies to 2 times 3 to the 3rd power. Now it's your turn to try. So you are going to try finding the prime factorization of 72. Pause the video and try to figure out what the prime factorization is, and then restart the video to check. So when I found the prime factorization, I know that 8 times 9 is 72. I know that neither of those are prime. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 times 3 is 9. I know that 2, 3, and 3 are both prime numbers, so I'm going to circle them. I know 2 times 2 multiplies to 4, and I circled my 2 earlier. So my prime factorization of 72 would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, which simplifies to 2 to the 3rd power times 3 to the 2nd power. How did you do?